When the Epstein Files were released, the internet exploded almost instantly. Headlines raced ahead of facts, names were pulled out of context, and millions of people around the world were left asking the same question: what do these documents actually reveal? Because buried inside thousands of pages are court records, depositions, contact lists, flight logs, investigative notes, and testimony collected across decades, and none of it is simple. None of it is designed for public interpretation without context. Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex trafficker whose crimes were real and documented. But the files surrounding his case are far broader than a list of criminals. They are a snapshot of how large federal investigations work, how prosecutors gather information, and how names can appear without charges ever being filed. In American courts, documents are built to preserve information, not to assign guilt, which is why these files contain politicians, business leaders, celebrities, staff members, pilots, assistants, and people who were mentioned only once in passing. Some names appear because of phone contacts, others because of travel records, others because a witness remembered a conversation, and some because investigators were simply mapping Epstein's network. But being named does not equal being accused, and being accused does not equal being guilty. This distinction is where public understanding often collapses because social media turns mentions into conclusions, but courts do not operate that way. Flight logs, for example, show who traveled, not why, not what happened, and not whether any crime occurred. Similarly, depositions include allegations, memories, and statements given under oath. But allegations are not verdicts. They are starting points for investigation. Victim statements must be taken seriously and respectfully. Yet even those statements require corroboration before charges can be filed. Many names resurfacing today were already known years ago. Others are newly noticed because attention has shifted, but none of this changes the legal reality that only Epstein himself was convicted in this case. Investigators cast wide nets intentionally because missing information can allow criminals to escape accountability, and the Epstein Files reveal how aggressively law enforcement tried to understand his world, his access, his influence, and his methods. What makes these documents unsettling is not proof of hidden guilt, but proof of how proximity to power complicates justice. Epstein built a life where wealth, privilege, and secrecy intersected, allowing him to operate longer than he should have. And the files expose the cracks in systems meant to protect victims, not secret lists of criminals. Transparency is uncomfortable, and that discomfort fuels speculation. But the real lesson of the Epstein Files is how easily facts can be distorted when raw documents meet viral outrage. Courtrooms require standards, evidence chains, and due process. While the internet demands instant conclusions, the danger is not what the documents contain, but how quickly they are misunderstood, because justice depends on truth, not assumptions. And truth is slow, careful, and often unsatisfying. The Epstein Files remind us that real accountability comes from investigation, prosecution, and verdicts, not from headlines or trending posts. And as long as these documents are discussed without context, confusion will dominate clarity, leaving victims overshadowed by speculation and the public trapped between curiosity and misinformation.